We are looking at triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, hexagons, heptagons, octagons, nonagons, and decagons. These are all plane shapes. That's spelled Plane. Not like an airplane, but they are all flat shapes. Again, like a square and a rectangle. Both of these plane shapes have 90-degree angles, which means one side goes straight up from the other. You'll learn more about angles later. This is a trapezoid, and that is also a plane shape, and so is a rhombus. When you were little, you might have called that a diamond. There's also a circle, and all kinds of triangles are also plane shapes. Then there's multi-sided figures, and that's a lot, but not all, of the plane shapes. Let's review some names again. Parallelogram, square, rhombus, kite, trapezoid, and rectangle. Let's look in more detail at these last shapes called quadrilaterals. All right, we're going to look at the word quadrilateral. Ready? Quad, meaning four. Quadrilateral. Let's try that again. Ready? Quadrilateral. If you have your paper and pencil out like I asked, then let's spell that together. Quadrilateral. If you're needing to get it after, I will have a list of words at the end. Okay, so now let's look at this quadrilateral. Excuse my feet. This is a rectangle. Let's look at the word rectangle. Rectangle. Okay, and with a rectangle, these two sides, 1 and 2, are going to be equal length and parallel, meaning that even if those went on for all of eternity, these two lines, top and bottom, they would never ever touch. Okay, because they are the same distance apart from here, here, here. They're always the same distance apart. Okay, but that's the same with these two lines. Those two are going to be equal in a rectangle. Okay, so this line and this line are equal and the same distance apart, which is called parallel. These two lines are equal and parallel, which means they're the same distance apart the whole way. Okay, so let's look at this square. Okay, you'll notice that some of these are going to run together. So a square also has sides that are parallel. So these two sides are parallel and these two sides are parallel, but the difference is that all four sides are going to be equal. And like we talked about before, there's that 90-degree angle. Okay, so also in the quadrilateral family is a rhombus, which is also sometimes called a diamond. So RHOMBUS, rhombus. Okay, and all four sides are going to be equal. But what's the difference between a rhombus and a square? Well, these angles, do you notice how they are, there's a smaller distance from this angle from this line to this line, or this side to this side? Okay, and there's a greater distance from here to here. So that's the angle from here to here. That's an angle, and this is an angle. So the angle is going to be smaller. Okay, so they're similar, but they do have a difference that sets them apart. Here's a trapezoid. Okay, Trapezoid, trapezoid. And a trapezoid, it uses that word parallel because this line and this line are always going to be the same distance apart no matter where they are. But these two lines do not have to be parallel. Okay, so only one set is parallel. Okay, so trapezoids can sometimes take different shapes. Trapezoid can sometimes look a little different because, again, only two sides have to be parallel, but they do not have to be equal. So we're going to take a trip down Quadrilateral Lane here and look at a parallelogram. This one I overdrew it just a little bit. But these two lines are going to be parallel, and these two lines are going to be parallel. And that's what makes a parallelogram what it is. Parallelogram being P. I had to look this one up because I kept getting it wrong. Oh, Kaylin. It's her chip. P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L-O-G-R-A-M. Parallelogram. Okay, so again, those two sides are parallel and these two sides are parallel. So now let's look at a kite. Okay, so a kite, hey, there's my shadow. A kite is K-I-T-E, and just like the kites that you see in the sky, two are going to be equal, but they connect, and the other two are also going to be equal and also connect. Okay, so that word is adjacent. They're next to each other. Okay, so kite, the lines aren't parallel, but they are equal length. So from here to here and from here to here is the same length. And from here to here and here to here, those are also going to be the same length. Okay, so that is our parallelogram, quadrilateral, excuse me, family of shapes. Plane shapes, P-L-A-N-E, plane shapes. And let's look at our trapezoid. So next I want to tell you about three-dimensional figures. One would be a sphere. It's like a circle, but it has depth to it, so we call that a sphere, not just a circle. Okay, and this has a lot of rectangles on it, but it's called a rectangular prism. Again, it has some depth to it. So the top shape is a rectangle, but because there's depth to it, is a solid shape. Okay, so it is a solid shape, and this one is specifically called a rectangular prism. This is a drawing, but it's a drawing of a triangular prism. I couldn't find any triangular prisms around my house. But you can see that the base, the bottom there, is a triangle. Okay, so rectangular prism, because the bottom is a rectangle, the base. Triangular prism, because the bottom of it is shaped like a triangle. Okay, we have a cone, and this one only has, well, this one doesn't have a bottom to it, but if that was flat on the bottom, it would be the base. Okay, but the cone is all rounded, so it doesn't have any faces, what are called faces in geometry. This also doesn't have any faces at all, not even on the bottom. It has no faces, but this one has many. So it would have one, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can hold the camera and do both. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back, 5 on the top, and then the 6th face down here at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to show you a bunch of pictures of some different shapes, and oh, there was one more that I got out, and that was a cylinder. So this is a type of cylinder, this cup, because of the way it's shaped. Okay, we're going to pretend it has a top on it too, but there's this face on the bottom, and there would be a face on the top, and then it's rounded on the outside. But it's different than the cone because this one comes to a point at the top, so which is called an apex. Okay, so on the plane shapes and on solid shapes, okay, either way, when you talk about where the points come together, that is called a vertex. And if you have more than one vertex, you have a vertice. You have vertices. So more, the point where they meet, the two sides meet, vertex. When you have more than one, vertices. Okay, but when it's at the top, like at a pyramid or a cone, then it's called the apex. That's the only time it's different. Otherwise, it is called the vertex. Okay, so oh, here is a I'll show you this in a minute too in the video, but this is a square pyramid because the base is a square, and where the top comes together is called the apex. So hopefully that helps. Keep looking into shapes because if everybody takes STAR next year, shapes are on there, and some of those terms are very important. I only get a day or so to teach you all about geometry. So definitely keep a lookout for shapes around your house because that'll be part of your work today too. Here again is an apex and a base of a cone. And there's my cone again. You can see the apex at the top and the base at the bottom. Here is a square pyramid, and I actually put one together made out of paper. So the bottom is a square, but then there are triangles out to the side. And then you just fold them up and you've made a square pyramid. Okay, and here is for the ending finale a triangular pyramid.